Hi everyone, it's Sloan Rhodes here with your weekly spiritual self-mastery class, Ego and Heart, for the week of April 28th, 2019. I'm sorry I missed everyone last week. I know sometimes I say that if I miss a week, you might want to just go back and randomly pick a video or a recording to listen to, and that'll probably be the right one for you. But also sometimes for me, whenever I miss a week, or when I miss a week, sometimes it's because those energies from the prior week are still playing out, and that was certainly the case for me here. So let's just go ahead and get started. As I do every week, I'll be pulling one card, and with that one card, we'll look at the energy for the week, or whenever you happen to be watching or listening to the recording, from the perspective of the ego, how the ego may try to distract us, and also from the heart-centered energies. And then we'll get another card based on what we can expect to look forward to regardless. Remembering that all of my YouTube videos are available on in an audio form only on iHeartRadio, iTunes, SoundCloud, and I think some other ones as well. There's a link below if you just want to watch listen to the recording when you're driving or whatever. And I did have an email from a client who was asking if I'm still doing the private tarot card readings, and I am still doing those. You can purchase a video recording, or you can email me if you want to set up a one-on-one appointment. The one-on-one appointments tend to be more about spiritual counsel, helping you find peace around whatever is going on for you in the moment. And then the video tarot readings tend to be a bit more about the tarot, more predictive, but I certainly use tarot and oracle cards as well with the one-on-one where appropriate. And I haven't ruled out doing more YouTube tarot card readings, just taking a break and recharging and all of that. I feel a bit like Where's Waldo today in this sweater. Okay. So we have the Three of Swords in reverse. That heart. What we can expect to look forward to is the Knight of Pentacles. Could be an earth sign, Virgo, Taurus, or Capricorn involved, or just you being very industrious, careful, deliberate. And then we also have the King of Swords under the deck. An energy of very clear-sighted awareness, creating new rules, regulations, making sure they're followed. Could also be someone who offers good mental counsel, could be a lawyer, this type of person that's under the deck. So it may be that if you've been receiving any kind of help from someone in a professional capacity, it looks like that help has been up to now, very useful, helpful. Okay, so, throughout these at least the last month, maybe 6 weeks, we've had like the Five of Cups showing up. We've had cards around change, some sadness, this kind of thing. And here we have, again, the Three of Swords in reverse. And so we're looking at this card from the perspective of the ego and the heart. Now, the heart, I'm going to look at it from the heart first, because this is how it's coming up, and we are seeing the heart here. And for some people, some readers, the Three of Swords in reverse has a connotation of recovery from heartache. For me, it's more about suppressing heartache. So, the heart would look at this Three of Swords reverse and say, it's okay to experience the heartache, and it's okay to acknowledge feelings of betrayal, either where you have betrayed, seemingly betrayed yourself or your values or another, or where you have felt as though someone betrayed you. It's okay to acknowledge that. You don't want to gloss over that, because it seeps out in other ways. You don't want it to be like, oh, that didn't hurt my feelings, and then 2 months down the road you're making that person pay with your passive-aggressive behavior or whatever. So it's important to be conscious. All of these videos, whether they're straight tarot or this particular class type of setting, it's always about bringing your own experience into the light of conscious awareness, so that you can transcend it, you can heal it, move beyond it, move through it in a more loving way. And with the Three of Swords in reverse here, we have this energy around suppression of some of the heartache, trying to gloss things over too quickly. Doesn't mean that you don't allow yourself to be open-hearted and forgiving towards self and others, but you don't want to pretend that things are better when they're not. It's okay to say to individuals, maybe you're having a discussion with someone and they've hurt your feelings, and like, so are we cool now? And then you want to, you don't want to be the difficult person. So you're like, yeah, it's fine. When it's really not, you can say, no, I'm not, of course we're okay and I'm okay, but my heart hurts. I still feel some sadness in there. I still feel confused even. It's okay to say that, and to, the other person, it's not the other person's job to do anything with it necessarily, but it's your job to acknowledge it for yourself. And so the heart says, yes, there's pain in the heart sometimes, and that's part of the human experience. And the heartache is what allows for the openings, the awakenings, the softening that occurs. And if you suppress it, it pops up in other ways, physical symptoms, passive-aggressive behavior, even aggressive behavior, so it's important that we acknowledge where we are hurt. And the heart-centered energies are all about openness, allowing things to be, crying if need be. And the ego says, I'm fine. The ego can look at this Three of Swords in reverse and say, push it down, because that's something that we can, from the ego perspective, the ego can go back to and pick at and keep that familiar pattern alive within you of feeling as though someone did something to you and that you need to be on guard because they might do it again. It becomes hardened. The ego has a very hardened shell, and the ego doesn't want to admit weakness, what it perceives as weakness, because then it perceives itself as being vulnerable to another attack. And the heart says, my strength comes from my deep awareness of the elasticity of the heart, the love that is available to me in each and every moment through my own love of self, of whatever is occurring in the present moment. The depth of my feeling, the depth of my feelings is what I draw my strength from. There's no need to be afraid, because no one can hurt me unless I'm hurting myself with my denial, with my judgment, self-judgment, that I'm supposed to be something different, or that this situation is supposed to be different, or the other person's supposed to be different. They betrayed me. That's the ego. The heart says, that person's ego got the better of them. They got lost in their own ego, as we all have an ego, I think I've mentioned this before, in fact I know I have, that when we can acknowledge that each and every individual on the planet has an ego, we can recognize when we are talking to someone's ego, or where we're talking to their more heart-centered energies. And it becomes easier to navigate the planet Earth, knowing that no one's out to get you, but that people's egos get triggered. And you can say, oh yes, I see, They got lost in that for a while. They didn't do it to me. They weren't trying, Of course, you always do the best you can in any given moment, but sometimes we get lost in our egos, and then that's what comes forth, and that's what drives our emotions sometimes, what drives our actions, our words. And so the heart says, yes, this occurred. It didn't feel good to my heart. It's not about the other person or what they did. It's about how I am processing my own egoic identity with what that meant, to the persona of me. They were supposed to do something differently. Were they? I don't know. You can ask the question. But by asking the question, then you create some spaciousness around it, some openness around it, some elasticity around it. It becomes more malleable, more workable, and less brittle. There's a lot there, and I could go on for a day and a half about that. But feel your way into it, because whenever we're dealing with the heart and feelings of betrayal or heartache or sorrow or loss or grief, and the suppression of that, the reason we want to suppress it is because we're afraid of what will happen if we, either to ourselves or to the situation or to another, if we really were to allow ourselves to fully grieve and fully express the heartache. It can be very frightening to the ego, to the inner child. So go easy here. Don't beat yourself up, but just acknowledge, where are there places where I am trying to dance around my own heartache, or the heartache of another. Or another way I can come in is if it's not you, but someone else, that we want them to feel better faster to make us feel better. A lot of times it's very painful for us to see others in pain because we feel uncomfortable. We want, we love them so much, we want them to feel better. Because in our mind, that would make them better. But if they're in pain, that's the experience that they are having. It doesn't mean that you turned a blind eye and that you're not compassionate. But a lot of times you want to fix it faster is what I'm trying to say. Like, oh, well, let's just do this. You need to go out and do this, and you want to make them feel better because you care for them and you think that's what's best for them. And maybe it is, maybe it's not. But it becomes very tricky when we try to force our agenda onto someone else's experience. So just, go easy here. Very, very gently here. And it looks like we are anyway, because with the Knight of Pentacles, again, it's very slow-moving, deliberate energy. It's not like the Knight of Swords here, or even the Knight of Wands. It's very slow, very deliberate, hard-working, determined, but not trying to rush, which is really, really nice. There's a lot of clear-sightedness under this, whether this is someone else or you. The Knight of Swords is all about clear communication, making sure that there are rules and regulations that are being followed in order to create safety, a greater sense of ease, movement, within a matrix. And so there's some beautiful energies here, but with the Three of Swords in the reverse, sometimes we can try to suppress heartache or feelings of betrayal or anger even. Anger always coming from a place of hurt, Don't be too quick to try to gloss over anything here around feelings being hurt or anything like that. It's different than holding a grudge. Although from the ego's perspective, it may be very similar in how it feels. No, I'm fine. You didn't hurt me, And then secretly, like, I'm going to pay them back when the time is right. I've been watching Game of Thrones, so it's kind of like that. It's always kind of fun to watch that show from the perspective of the ego. Okay, so I hope that you found that helpful, and that I explained it in a way that makes sense. As I mentioned before, just go gently and easily here and slowly. Don't try to force anything. And, what we can expect to look forward to regardless anyway is this Knight of Pentacles. And it could be someone who's coming in to be very helpful, but they won't be forceful. But they, slow moving, of course, if it's not you, with the best of intentions to help you build something very stable and long lasting here. So regardless, it looks like things are going to move pretty slowly, but just make sure that you're not pretending when, if there's an opportunity to express yourself. It's even okay, of course, as you know, to say, I'm not quite sure how I feel. If someone wants to apologize, or they're offering you something, or they're offering you a truce, or they did something, they're not aware of it. Sometimes with the Knight of Pentacles can be a workaholic. So say you're in a relationship and someone's kind of doing this workaholic thing. Less so in the upright, but more in the reverse. But still, and your feelings are hurt because they haven't been giving you attention. Don't be like, oh, it's fine. No, I know it's important that you work. We need money, of course, and blah, blah, blah. Yes, those things are true. And also you got your feelings hurt, so it's okay to express that. I understand all this, and also I'm feeling kind of lonely or sad, and I know that's not you, and I just want to let you know that this is where I'm at, and I appreciate how hard you work, and I'm recognizing where I still feel a sense of sadness within me, and there are things that I'm doing to help myself understand that, and create more opportunities where I feel more full and more joyful. So you can kind of play with it, and there's a lot of different ways to go about this, and certainly you'll find your own way that's perfect, and exactly what's meant to be for you. So, okay, I hope that you find that helpful. I wish you much love as always, and I will see you either at your private appointment. If you email me, we can set up something, or you can order a video reading, or I still have my online courses up at the Sloan Academy. And if you wanted to listen to this on in audio format, you can go to the links below for our iHeartRadio, iTunes, SoundCloud, etc. All right, much love.